What is going on, traders? So with the Fed meeting coming up on November 2nd, there's been a lot of chatter by Fed members themselves and other analysts and writers in the space talking about how the Fed potentially has a pivot coming up. I mean, Fed pivot was even a trending topic on Twitter. For this reason, you see the S&P 500 up almost 4% over the last week. Over the last 2 weeks, it's up almost 9%. We're also seeing the 10-year Treasury down almost 5% in a week. Now, this is naturally leading to a lot of pundits as well as retail investors talking about whether the Fed is actually going to pivot on November 2nd. And by pivot, for those of you that are new to Fed lingo, pivot meaning reversing monetary policy at the moment, which obviously the Fed is aggressively tightening, both by running off assets from their balance sheet as well as raising interest rates. So there is a certain segment of the investing population that thinks that the Fed might actually reverse course on November 2nd. However, I'm here to tell you there is no way in hell that is going to happen. In my view, this is a mix of hope and manipulation, trying to get people to believe that the Fed is actually going to pivot. That is why you're seeing a rise in the stock market and a dropping in the yields. However, because of this, there are also ways that one can take advantage of this as a trader. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you what my expectations are for the Fed on November 2nd and beyond, why I think there's no chance in hell that the Fed is actually going to pivot this early, what actually happens when the Fed pivots, and when do they actually pivot historically, and how I'm already taking advantage of this by playing calls on TLT, which is an ETF that tracks 20+ year bonds. Let's get right into it. So as I said, there's been a growing number of articles coming out. There's been a lot of pundits on CNBC talking about how the Fed is potentially going to pivot on November 2nd or in December. So the basis for this chatter is actually quite logical. Front-loading rate hikes and hiking too quickly, too rapidly, can actually cause things to break. And we are already starting to see major dislocations in the bond market. This is why the yield between the 10-year and the 3-month Treasury is currently inverted. More inverted than we've seen really since before the COVID crash of 2020. We're currently at minus 0.16. This means that the 3-month Treasury pays more of a yield than the 10-year Treasury. And the second reason we're starting to see a lot of chatter about the Fed potentially slowing down is because there is growing illiquidity in the Treasury market. I did a whole video on this. I will link it here. But when there are liquidity issues in the bond market, that tends to disrupt the entire financial system because the entire financial system is actually based on treasuries. Treasuries are one of two methods that the governments use in order to raise money, the other one being taxes. However, if nobody shows up to the Treasury auctions and no one is buying US debt, then the government is going to have trouble, one, getting financing, and two, when it finally does get financing, the yields are going to be so high that it's going to cost the government a lot more. Also, illiquidity in the Treasury market causes every other single thing in the economy to skyrocket from a price standpoint. And you have super complex systems like the overnight repo market. If there are dislocations in that market, then banks are going to be charging a lot more to borrow from each other. They're going to be passing that cost down to consumers. Anyway, the one thing you need to know is there cannot be illiquidity in the Treasury markets. Now, here's why the Fed, in my view, can't actually slow down this early. We all know that inflation increased 0.4% in September, more than expected. So although there are signs that certain segments of the inflation stage are peaking, inflation in general is still a huge problem. Two, the labor market is still extremely hot. We expected unemployment to go up at least in September. It actually went down and continues to go down. And we typically don't see a Fed pivot until unemployment starts ticking up. The NBER, the National Bureau of Economic Research, actually deems the economy in a full-on recession, and then we tend to see a Fed pivot. We'll go over historically when the Fed pivots exactly. Now, remember last week, the GDP numbers came out for Q3 as well, showing a positive 2.6% growth after recording back-to-back negative GDPs. So if the third quarter came out negative as well, then the Fed would have more impetus to slow down. However, the economy is still growing at a pace of 2.6%, although we'll talk about why that this number here is a little bit misleading because spending and investments are down. And the bulk of that 2.6% growth actually came in the form of exports. And as you know, the US dollar right now, the US dollar index is extremely strong compared to our foreign counterparts. Moreover, here's another reason why I don't think the Fed is done hiking yet. If we take a look at 1974, remember the 70s and 80s, that was the highest inflationary stage that the US has ever seen. Right now, what we're living in is actually the second highest, only beat out by that time period. But if we take a look at 1974, inflation was 11%. The Fed was hiking rates, and then finally there were signs that inflation was actually dropping, but the signs were not conclusive, and they started decreasing the rate prematurely. Now, inflation did go, when they started decreasing the rates, inflation was 11%. It dropped to 9.1% and then dropped to 5.8%. And they thought that they were done. However, that is still considered high inflation. And no one considered raising the rates again until inflation ran out of control. Once again in 1979, inflation went back up to 11.3% and started kicking the US economy's ass once again. That is when Paul Volcker came in and said, okay, we have to fix this once and for all. He kept hiking the rates until they were 20%, until the Fed funds rate was 20%, and inflation reached a high of 13.5% in 1980. And it wasn't until he did that, really at the time was an unorthodox, unpopular move, but inflation finally came down to the single digits, to the low single digits. And by 1986, inflation was at 1.9% once again. So the Fed cannot possibly think of pivoting here and dropping the interest rates when we have so much economic data, especially the unemployment rate, showing that the economy is still growing strong from a data standpoint. And there's nothing in the data that suggests that the Fed actually has the luxury of pivoting here. Now, when does the Fed actually pivot, and what happens when the Fed actually pivots? Well, if we look at this chart at all of the Fed pivots in history, you can see that the Fed actually does not start pivoting until we get near a recession and the unemployment rate goes up. The federal funds effective rate is actually above inflation, and that eventually brings the economy to its knees when they keep raising the rates until the federal funds effective rate is above inflation. If we take a look at it now, you can see that we're still negative. We're still negative 5.6%. This is the Fed funds rate minus the CPI. What has to happen in order to beat out inflation is the Fed funds rate has to be above CPI. So CPI has to come down while the Fed funds rate is going up. And once we get to a point where the Fed funds rate is above inflation, by that point, obviously, the chance of a recession is almost 100%. There's no way that the Fed can continue to raise that aggressively without breaking the economy. Because remember, once you raise the federal funds rate that high, that means that the housing market is crippled, the consumer market is crippled. That means that nobody's starting businesses, growing businesses. Spending has definitely curbed by a large margin. That also means that businesses are no longer hiring. And as a matter of fact, they are laying off because it's too expensive for them to actually keep that many employees on if there is no growth in the economy. So they start laying employees off, and you start seeing this uptick in unemployment. And once we hit that recession, which on this chart is denoted by these gray bars, once unemployment starts ticking up and you hit that recession, that is when the Fed actually starts pivoting. So the Fed is actually not going to pivot this early, not with the economy still running hot from a numbers perspective, not with unemployment still historically low, and not with the Fed funds rate this well below CPI as we see here. Now, one thing the Fed can actually do on November 2nd, though, is give everybody an expectation of when they are looking to pivot or when they are looking to halt. Because remember, during the Jackson Hole speech, they were hawkish. The last FOMC speech or FOMC meeting, the Fed was really hawkish, and they would not give any indication on when they would halt or pivot. They wanted to assume that credibility and, not appear weak in the face of inflation. However, on November 2nd, they, in my view, will still likely hike by 75 basis points. but they actually could come out and say, hey, this is actually when we're looking to do our first pivot, or when we're looking to slow down, and we're expecting the terminal rate to be exactly 4.75% or 5%. The terminal rate means the rate at which they're going to stop hiking, right? Like once the Fed funds rate reaches that, they're now going to stop hiking. So they could actually give us language on November 2nd, setting our expectations on when they are actually going to pause. But I don't think that they pivot November or even December. They might slow in December and do, a 50 basis point or 25 basis point rate hike, or even a, pause altogether. But I don't think that they pivot in December. I don't think they pivot until we actually get cracks in the economy and we are nearing a recession or in a recession already. Now, remember that the 10-year and long-term treasury yields are indirectly tied to the Fed rate hike. So it's not that when the Fed, hikes their rates, that means that the treasury yields automatically go up. This is a market. The treasury yield is set by supply and demand for the 10-year treasury, right? So the 10-year treasury yield, if there's an expectation that the Fed is actually going to stop hiking in the near future, then the 10-year treasury yield can still drop from here. It doesn't mean that if the Fed does a 75 basis point rate hike, that the 10-year treasury yield automatically goes up. It really depends on how bond investors interpret when the Fed is going to stop hiking. Now, I did expect that we would see a pause after seeing all the chatter in a potential Fed pivot. I did think that we would see a slowdown in the 10-year treasury yield, and that is why we actually bought calls on TLT. Now, those calls on TLT, which expire in January, are up 70%, and we can actually close these out currently. However, if the Fed does actually include strong language that they are going to slow down at a certain point in time, then we could see the 10-year treasury yield continue to drop, which means TLT, even though TLT is based on the 20-year plus, we could actually see TLT rise. Now, what I might do is take profits on half of those or maybe 3/4 of those and just ride it out and see what happens in the FOMC meeting, because I'm waiting for the 10-year treasury yield to eventually get back to this trend line here. And if you want access to all of our analysis, the weekly watch list, the day trading course, the options course, the Zoom calls with me, the chat with thousands of traders talking about trades all day, every day, talking about ideas, strategies, etc., link is in the description below. Book a call with one of our ambassadors and apply to the Academy today. So what do I expect the stock market to do? Well, I drew this, if you guys have been following the TA Tuesdays, TA Thursday segment, which you seem to love, and I'll continue doing them. From this point on, this is when I expect to actually short the market once again, because remember, the tech earnings came out and the tech earnings were actually terrible all across the board. Apple somewhat surprised with record revenues, record profits. However, segments within Apple's business verticals are actually showing a slowdown in demand. There's a slowdown in demand with Amazon, Google, Meta. And so if we're expecting demand destruction to be worse in 2023, we're expecting rates to go up. I don't think that this is the bottom for the market. Remember, the market has never bottomed while the Fed was still hiking. And I don't expect the Fed to pivot until we actually see a rise in unemployment and things start breaking within the economy. And I just want to point out one more thing here. From a market standpoint, I want you to look at the S&P 500, which is the red line here. When the Fed actually pivots, the market does not rally. So if we take a look at 2000, if we take a look at 2008, if we take a look at 2018, you know that the market actually started crashing even more after the Fed pivots, because in actuality, the market doesn't crash when the Fed pivots. The Fed pivots because the economy is crashing. So that is why you tend to see the market drop after a Fed pivot, which is why I don't think the Fed has any reason to pivot here while the market is seeing a strong bear market rally. I do think that what we saw with big tech was just the beginning, right? We're finally starting to see the rate hikes and the quantitative tightening take shape here in the economy and reflected in mega cap earnings. However, to me, this is just the beginning. I do think that 2023, as the rates keep going up, as unemployment starts going up, we're going to see even more demand destruction for 2023, and this case is going to get worse. So I do think that the forward S&P multiples are going to come down a little bit. I do plan on taking a nice size short when we finally hit a major resistance level in the S&P 500. But for now, in the short term, I remain long on the stock market, long on bonds, short on yields. And I still expect the Fed to do a 75 basis point rate hike in November. December is anybody's guess, but I don't think we see a pivot anytime soon. Anyway, traders, let me know what you think in the comment section. Sound off in the comment section. Again, if you want access to our analysis, all the courses, the Zoom calls with me, if you want access to the chat with thousands of traders talking strategies, trades, alerts all day, every day, futures, options, stocks, long-term holds, etc. Link is in the description below. Sign up. Would love to have you. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.